Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a new game. This is Norland, developed by Long Jaunt and published by Hooded Horse. It came out literally, well, for Australia it came out yesterday, but for the rest of you it came out on my birthday. So that must mean something. Yeah, so basically it's like a medieval Sim City, kinda. But instead of you building the buildings, you tell the peasants what to build. And you have lords and you have kings, and um, it can get really, really carried away, as I've seen in a lot of videos. And I'm just going through the settings now. This is pre-recorded. This is just my first hour of experience with this game. So, yeah, I just recorded it and just give you my initial thoughts of what the game and how I think it's going to turn out and all that. And so I was reading a lot of this stuff because I must admit, going into the game, I was actually quite concerned
Nearly 200
that
years have
it was going
passed
to
since the
be
end of the devastating
too
religious
over the
war.
top.
The
It's a
empire
very,
fell,
very
and its former
complicated game.
provinces eventually became barbarian kingdoms. The
Yeah,
church
so this is
managed to
just the
revive
introduction
hope,
here.
and peace and prosperity reigned over the
And
ruins of the former civilization. Over
he
time,
just talks
the
about how
influence of the church only grew. But history
the
is cyclical,
past and
and
has
power
affected
cannot
what's
remain in
going on
one's
right now
hands
and
for
why there are all
long.
these different
Wars between kingdoms
segments
flare
of
up one
population
after
everywhere,
another.
and
Hunger and poverty
it
force
basically
people
sets
to
the
abandon their
standard for
homes
how you're going
and
to
seek refuge in
start
neighboring
your town,
settlements.
or
Can
I don't
your
know,
dynasty
what would you call
unite the
something smaller than
kingdoms
a town?
and halt the advance
I
of
don't
the
know.
Dark Ages?
Yeah,
From this
yeah, it's just
moment
a
on,
town,
history is
I'd
written
love to
by
get to the
you.
size of cities, but as I've seen, there's only like 4 or 5 different, not races. Well, I guess you could call them races, but they're more like beliefs. Like you can get a temple, which isn't really a church, but a temple can almost mean anything. Um, but I never got to that point. So I'm really early in the game. I just go through the training because, like I said, this is a really complicated game, and to get into it, you need to know your basics. And the basics, well, they took me nearly an hour to get through. So yeah, that is me taking a sip of my drink. It is my birthday, so I am having a little bit of a bourbon on the side. um, so yeah, the tutorials. A lot of tutorials are like, oh yeah, I don't need that shit. I needed this shit. Trust me, this is some complicated shit. Um, you have no idea how complicated this game can be. But after doing the tutorial, I'm like, oh okay, I get it. That's pretty straightforward. But you need to go through the tutorial to understand that crap, you know? Like, these are all just commands and mouse buttons and all that crap first off to start off with, like increasing the speed, pausing the game, and then you find out about lords. And alright, so then a lord needs to be assigned a job, and peasants, you don't control peasants, you control lords. So a lord will tell a peasant what to do, and that's how you get control of peasants. So if you need a house built, well then you need someone in a lord to tell them what to do, and so forth. So right here I'm just reading through it all, and basically I need to learn how to build a lumber mill. Not a lumber mill, I don't know. We'll get to that, but yeah, it starts off pretty straightforward. But yeah, I was just gonna upload the whole footage, and just figured, you know what, that'll do. You know, like, because if people want a first impression of this game, I reckon, you know, a lot of people come to my channel just to listen, and you know, that's great. I give good insight for Craft the World, and I've been told that, and people love my feedback on that game. So I'd love to e extend that into other games, and this seems like a great successor to that. It's a very complicated game, and it can be improved upon, if you know what I mean. Like, I just love the fact that you can go times three. Like, it just makes everything so faster. So on the right hand side, you can see the Lord is shouting, come here," and like everyone comes here and like, all right, building constructions, all right, then that's what you want us to do, all right, then. So um, we've got to quickly do that. Um, and we've got to build a lumber mill. Zoom out, and this, I had trouble here because it says to build the lumber mill. I'm like, where do you want it? And I see it got turned white. I'm like, oh, okay. But then I notice it, and I can see it now, but when I was playing, I was like, where is it? Oh, there it is, you know. And yeah, and then the game's on pause right now. So, and you gotta plant the fields, but it wants you to plant it in a certain spot, which is, you know, I was like, oh, but this would be better. This covers more ground. Like, I don't know if that's important yet or not, but we'll find out, won't we? Um, so at the start, um, as we'll find out later, you're basically along this tutorial lines. Like, you can build about the same things. You could probably build about one or two or three extra things in than the tutorial. The tutorial is a little bit more advanced. You're a little bit stronger in this tutorial than you are in the actual normal game, or at least you are when I was playing. I do actually have a little bit of gameplay footage at the end um, that I tried to get going and see how my first city or town would develop. And now all I've got to do is assign managers. So a lord has to be assigned to look after that building. Like, okay, so this is the lumber mill. So, well, you know, I can pick any of them. Apparently they can do up to a couple of, maybe 4 or 5 things. I don't know. But I figured maybe that's a thing where, like, if a lord has too much to do, they'll get unhappy. So you spread the load out over your lords. And at the top of the screen, you can see there's places for 5 lords. Now, when I was playing later, I had more slots than that. In fact, it was actually kind of overwhelming, but we'll get to that when yeah, there was more than 5 slots, and I had like people visiting the town and everything. I'm like, oh god. But yeah, so you don't want to overwhelm your lords. You assign them to a building. They'll look after and make sure that building. They'll tell the peasants what to do. So the lumber mill obviously chop down some trees. So a guy will go over there and chop down some trees. And this is where I have my first biggest problem with the game. So I change the camera speed, and then I can't get out of the settings. I click exit, and it exits the game. I'm like, well, what happened there? So that was my first biggest problem with the game. It happened really fast. Maybe I could have right-clicked on the mouse. I didn't try that. But next time I will. Because I'm pretty sure that's how you get out of the menu. But yeah, I'm still waiting on that graphics card. You know, there's no big rush, you know, but I can't wait for it, to be honest, you know. I can't continue, so I got a new game and started all over again. So I just, no, that's not what I want. Tutorial, yeah. So it doesn't ask you the second time I open the game. So I skip that, go straight into it, and then I just race through the tutorial. It took me like 8 minutes to do the first bit, it'll take me like a minute to do all that again. I'm not even joking. I was watching the timer. I know how long it took. But yeah. So I pressed escape, and then I was afraid to press escape for the rest of the game. I was like, oh, if I press escape, then I can't get out of that menu. I don't know how. So yeah. And every time the game saves, it lags my computer like no fucking problem. It could be because I'm recording. That's another thing. I'm sorry that the video is not in 1080p. I know a lot of people expect 1080p as a minimum, but it's just going to have to be 720 for a while until I get my new graphics card, because that's all I can. If you if you want quality, 720 is all I can deliver right now. I've tried 1080. It just takes way too long. It it doesn't increase the production time by a quarter. It increases the production time by like 3/4, which is astounding. But I can understand the math behind it. You know, it's exponential instead of, um, yeah, uh, a direct fraction. But yeah, so yeah, I just quickly race out all that things, and I can see where it has to go. It's actually really hard to see. So I put my lumber mill down, and then I put my rutabaga field in, which is basically where we were. So then we press play. And they build it, and that's all we have to wait for now. That's pretty much where we were. But the reason I pressed escape was because I needed to increase the camera movement, because you use the WASD keys to move around. And it was just so slow. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this. So I increased the speed. I just put it up to maximum. And luckily it's not too fast. It's actually weird. It's not too fast on this map, but when I get to the world map later, it is actually too fast on the world map. So I'm like, well, can't there be a different camera speed for both? Because one's perfect and the other one's too fast. But if I make it slower, then this one would be too slow and the world map would be perfect. So it's like, you can't win. But this game is not released yet. I mean, it's what is it? Early access game. So it literally came out like 10 hours, or maybe 16 hours ago. And if you're wondering why I'm sitting here recording a video on my birthday, it's because I'm celebrating tomorrow. Because tomorrow's Saturday. So that's a better day. So what you do, I'm making this moonshine, right? So I got the field, I got the tavern, not the tavern. I didn't actually realize this until later, but that's not a tavern, that's a brewery. So you use the brewery, you make whatever your research allows, and a lord has to learn something in order for your research to learn something. So if you have a lord that knows how to do something, then it doesn't matter where he is, you'll have it unlocked. Which this doesn't explain. The tutorial doesn't really explain that, but it explains how to learn something, which is good. But yeah, I had to find out that on my own. Also, I didn't know that you need a brewery. So before you build a tavern, although tavern does increase the profits that your town brings in, because your peasants, it's like SimCity in a way. Your peasants bring in money. So it's like they work for you, and they also pay you. They pay taxes and everything because they just want to live. It's not like nowadays where everything's about profit. It's about the whole town is about profit. The mayor's position, or not mayor, king. The king's position is all about profit. So, yeah, all the peasants have to pay for everything that they do, and they get paid their wages for doing things. But I'm not too sure how that equates. Like you basically get it all back in the tavern. So it's like, oh, well, I think food is free. I'm not sure about that. There is a marketplace, but when I started my own game, it basically said, yeah, you've already got a marketplace. So I'm like, maybe that's just, yeah, everyone gets food, but you can see who's hungry and who's not. And the start of this game was pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's a lot of reading. I did skim most of this, so it's like, I get that, move on. Um, and like it says there, the higher the trade skill. So like, let's say you're making, what was that wine? Can't remember what the name of that wine was. But yeah, you're making that wine that I was making. Let's say you have level 3, it'll be better quality. So you can then make better quality moonshine. That's it, moonshine, that's what it was called. So here's the trader. Now he visits every 3 days or so. And you actually have a relationship with him. So the more you trade him, the more happier he feels about you. And he's like, oh, all right, then you're pretty cool, I'll give you a discount, like, I don't know if you can talk to him or anything like that. This tutorial doesn't go into social aspects of the game, but it actually does have a lot of social interaction. I tried to get my king to have a wife, and that's where I left off. That's spoiler alert. Uh, I couldn't figure it out, but I will figure it out, and there will be an updated video, and it would be heavily edited in comparison to this one. Like, the purpose of this video is to be completely unedited. I want raw footage showing exactly what the first hour of gameplay looks like. My experience, how I got through it, and then me explaining what I thought was good and what I thought was bad. So this lord is unhappy. Now, it tells you in the red why he's unhappy. And it's because he hasn't I can't read that from here. He wants a reward. Yeah, torturous desire. So he basically feels like killing himself. So you reward him with some trinkets or something like that. In this game, they're called rings, or holy rings. And I don't know how you get them. I think you get them from the trader. But you earn them by doing stuff. And over the course of the game, you have to spend them to make people happy and make traders happy. And when you talk to other towns, so I've made this guy king because every town needs a king in these ye old times. He's going to walk around like, yeah. But you see, he's going to look down on everyone now. So, yeah. And if you, the way I'm seeing it is, if you do something stupid in this game, the king will get spat on and crap like that. like I was having issues, well, not issues, but problems when I played when I started my own little town, which we'll get to later. Um, that not my king, but one of the lords was getting talked about, and he got laughed in his face. I'm like, okay, so the social aspect is really big in this. So I basically got to watch what they do and everything like that. They need to be respectable, because if they're not, they're gonna suffer. And here we're going to move on to making a trade with another town. So yeah, we're going to trade with another town, and his better something. We're going to go hunting with a fellow king, and that's going to increase our relationship with them. You know, like in the movies. You know, oh, I'll go hunting with them, and you have a good time, and oh, you want to marry my daughter? You know, like shit like that. You know, like so you set relationships up and you build up, and then maybe you're like, oh, they fucked me over, so let's invade them. You know, um, which I'm looking forward to mid to end game content, because so far I've only touched the surface of what this game's capable of. Like I said, it only just came out so many hours ago, and I'm really looking forward to the mid to end game. Obviously, there isn't really going to be an end game. You know, oh, well, there will be an end game, but how long is that end game? You know. So on this map, I didn't realize that that's my province. I actually thought that it was the one below me. It's not really like, because it went straight to this Dust Valley. I'm like, oh, so that must be me. So I'm clicking on it like, what's going on here? And there's a written letter, and now I've got a trade agreement. So the trade agreement allows me, he'll send a peasant every so often to trade for something or other, moonshines, in exchange for copper. And that's my way of getting copper, because I don't have a copper mine, he does. So I can trade moonshine for it, and every day or two he'll send someone to come pick it up and drop it off and all that funny stuff. And yeah, but like I said, when I was playing the game, I thought Dust Valley was me, but it's not, which is, yeah, really misleading. I think they could have done a better job there. But yeah, now we're going to get stuck into the combat. Yes, this game has combat, and lots of it. You can get armies up to like 100. I don't get that far in this playthrough, but I will eventually. Yeah, you can equip them with like armor, really higher level armor, you know, all that stuff. And I'm just trying to get through the tutorial. Like, okay, so I hire these people, and that's enough, you know. Um, and then moving on from that, I've got to equip my squad. So I got my commander. I got to pick a commander. So I need to add warriors, and I'll add him. A little bit confused here, but I got through it. And then add all my warriors, and now I can equip them, and it'll equip based on who is stronger. So the strongest if you click on an axe, it'll go to the strongest person first, and then you click it on it again, and it'll slowly work down the line. And now I got my command party, and now it's like an RTS. Right click, and your army will go there. So I'm about to be attacked by some bandits. There they are there. And I accidentally clicked on them. I don't know how to shortcut. So I click on the banner, trying to work it out. Yeah, now I figure it out. Right click on it, and they'll go, and they'll kick their ass. because it's a tutorial, and one person runs away, and I think I captured someone. So when you fight, you can actually capture people, and you can turn them into slaves or peasants that just live in your town, or anything like that. If people run away, you can't do nothing about that. It might actually cause a bigger army to come and attack you. I read something about that, which is really bad. Like if you're fighting a neighboring kingdom and you're in a big war and someone escapes, then he could go and tell the kingdom that that little squad was killed, and they're coming for you, and they'll be ready for you, with a bigger army. It's like stuff like that. But now I'm in a little map, and on the battlefield. This is a battlefield, so this is a different instance. I couldn't work out how to get this started, but I will in future. So now that I know that right click does the job, they're at level 3, although there's only 3 of them. I don't know what that means, but yeah, they're coming. There they are. And I'm going to kick their ass, so that's pretty straightforward. And one person runs away, and there he is. And he comes back, but he runs away. Victory. So we captured 2, and 1 got away. Now, this is where the tutorial ends, I think. So you can continue to play the tutorial if you want, and it'll just be a very easy mode, but I wasn't interested in very easy mode. It says easy difficulty level. Okay, well, I consider it not to be, because, to be honest, these lords are actually more powerful than the lords I get on easy mode. So, yeah. So, new game, and I get to design my own guy, and I make it look like me. And you can pick what heritage you got, like, so you got the Caden. They're basically Vikings. I mean, they're not Vikings, but they're basically Vikings. They have a production bonus and weapons and armory and all that. They're military knowledge. They value strength. Tanea, can't remember what they were. Loving families and all that. No, that's the Maka. The Yarn. So you got the 4 different established races or tribes or ways of life, whatever you want. And I try to make this guy look like me. So, well, that's not me. I mean, I do have hair, but I like to keep it that short. I was trying to look for the beard that looks more like mine, but couldn't really find one. So I just stick with that, and got to go with the red, or dark red, because it's not really red anymore, it's brown. As you get older, redheads, their hair starts to turn brown. And I've got a little bit of fat on me, so yeah. And I have no idea what half of this shit is, so. But like I said, I expect to be doing videos in the future where I know this shit. So this is just an introductory course into my first hour with this game, and I hope to be bringing you lots more. So family members, I'm just going to go with the 2 brothers. I don't know what any of this meant. I read it all and I was like, what? I can increase I don't get it. So I clicked on the flags and I was like, alright, I seriously don't understand. So I just decided to leave it all. I'm like, no, I don't care how do I just didn't understand. game parameters. You can make it as easy or as hard as you want. I do not understand any of this. Like, yeah. So I'm starting a scenario, prisoner. Um, the game starts off, and I let this guy play again, which was stupid. I should
Nearly
have just skipped this
200 years have
because
passed
it was
since the
I
end
thought
of
it
the
was going to be a different
devastating religious
introduction. It
war.
wasn't.
The empire fell, and its former provinces eventually became barbarian kingdoms.
But yeah,
The
the scenario I'm
church
doing
managed
is
to
the first
revive
scenario.
hope,
It's called
and
Prisoner,
peace and prosperity
and you
reigned
start
over
off
the
the game,
ruins of the
and
former
one of your
civilization.
lords is imprisoned
Over time,
by a
the
neighboring bandit
influence of the
camp,
church only grew,
and a bandit's
but history
relatively
is
strong.
cyclical, and power cannot remain
And
in one's
yeah,
hands for
I
long. Wars
couldn't work
between
out how to
kingdoms
attack them.
flare up, one after
Well, I
another.
could, but
Hunger and
it
poverty
said
force people to
48%
abandon
success
their
rate, so I was
homes
like, no, I'm
and
not.
seek
I could
refuge
lose the
in
game right
neighboring
here.
settlements.
I'm not going to do that.
Can your
No, not in
dynasty
my first
unite the
gameplay.
kingdoms
Like,
and
I
halt
want to.
the advance of the Dark Ages?
If it's on
From
easy,
this moment
then
on,
if it says 48%, then it's
history is
obviously telling me
written
that
by
I'm doing something
you.
wrong. So I mustn't, this mustn't be the right way. So I can't remember what I ended up doing, but I think I just bribed them, which is another thing you can do. You can just, if you got enough gold, you can buy anything. What's that old saying? There's a price for everything. So yeah, I live by that in this playthrough. I think you have to live by that in this game. But then again, it is just a game, and if a computer attacks you and it's like, oh, 99% success rate, and you try and bribe them to stop them from killing you, they're just going to kill you because their success rate is so high that they're going to be like, oh, it's a 1% loss. So why would we accept this guy's money if we could just kill him and take it? So yeah. So I don't understand all this stuff. They believe I'll get into the law. The law seems I I think they could have done a better job of telling the law. I know that guy talks about it, but he doesn't really explain it. I think visual explanation would have been better than a guy sitting at a desk writing down on a notepad. That's just my impression to begin with, because he's like, oh, the year is the gods left us 2,980 years ago. Like, okay then, well, what happened before that? Why is that the year? What's so important about that year? So I start off this campaign the same way I started off the tutorial. I build my lumber mill. I build my uh, what is that? Beetroot? No, it's not beetroot. What are you talking about? It's not beetroot. Um, butterscotch snaps. Ooh, that tastes nice. Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, I'm like, I didn't notice here, but see that little girl? Oh, she's an adult, but yeah, that means she's captured. So yeah, and I'm just having a look at my land, and this is my land. Like I can turn this all into a big town if I want. And what I didn't realize is I could bribe them right now and get her to work for me. It says she's a part of my lordship up the top there. And it takes me like 10-15 minutes to realize that she's not actually here. Natalie, what's her name? Nadler, something like that. I can hardly tell. I'm using the different method of recording, so yeah. So as you can see, my lords are a lot weaker than they were in the tutorial. So I'm like, well, this is harder than the tutorial. Okay. Not that I did much in the tutorial, it was pretty straightforward. Taught you a little bit about combat, taught you a little bit about assigning things, and that's it. Yeah, it took 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Now I gotta, sorry, Astrid, usually it's Astrid, but Astrid is my king, or should be. I should make him king. I think I'll do that soon. Or I've already done it, I don't know. But yeah, so you can assign them to more than one building, your lords. And here's a trader. So the trader comes, and I've got nothing really to trade. But I do end up trading him something. I've got to wait for him to get there. Relationships tab. So like I said, this is a very social game. The whole premise of it is built around social interactions with neighboring empires, kingdoms, empires, you know. So I always get someone who respects to trade with him. And I'm just going to parsnip. Is it rutabaga? The rutabaga, that's it. So yeah, I'm going to trade him some rutabaga because I can't really do anything. And then hop field and beer. And I figured I got a lot of money here, so I may as well buy something else. I think that's the whole idea. You're supposed to get your game started here. You know, you're supposed to buy stuff. So I figured, oh, well, I better buy something else because I've got too much gold. It's like SimCity. Like you're supposed to invest into producing more money. So the only way to do that is I need to be able to make beer so that my peasants spend money in the tavern. And I need to be good at fighting, so I get the axe proficiency and fighting proficiency, so that I can get one of my guys studying the art of war. And we can really get stuck into like fighting and stuff, because yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to take over and conquer. But as you can see, I've only got what was that, 5 buildings and a kiosk. So this is where I got confused. I'm trying to do what I did in the tutorial and none of it's working. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I need a library. That's where you learn stuff. So obviously I had that in the tutorial and I didn't realize that I had it. So I'm going to build that. Economic report, minus $600. Wages, 700, yeah, 75, yeah. So people are just taking their food and the trader leaves. And as you can see, everyone tries to sleep in the bunk beds provided, but not everyone can. They just sleep out the front there. I don't know what that's about. Hopefully, you know, when you have a prosperous, you know, they're probably just drunk out the front. You know, just, oh, I'm not going home. They probably don't have a home to go to. That's the confusion. I don't know whether that's the way it is, or I need to build homes for them. I know you have to build homes for the lords, otherwise they get unhappy. They feel neglected and they get sad, and yeah. So I got 3 at the moment actually. 3 lord homes, but only 2 of them are being used. It's really cool how it like I've zoomed out and it like, yeah, it opens up the inside of the house so you can see inside. And so I'm placing the tavern, but that's not it. I've done the wrong thing. Because it wasn't the tavern that made it me able to make hops and beer. It was the brewery. So I've already made a massive mistake. Although it hasn't cost me too much, so I'm not too worried. I haven't even looked at the left-hand side to see what my resources are. This is the first time I've actually looked at that. I just built. So all this starting stuff you can pretty much build straight away. You just need to sort out who's doing it. So the first thing I do is I get these guys in the library studying, and I decide that I'm gonna get him studying hop, field, and beer, or not. Yeah, I'm not too sure if it matters, like whether or not like he has to be the I'll say manager. Manager makes more sense to me. If he's the manager of the pub or fucking tavern, is he going to need to know how to make beer? Or the brewery? Yeah, if he's the manager of the brewery, does he need to know how to make beer? And I actually learned that no, that's not the case. But could it be? You know, like there are other situations where I think more information would be better, and that's what I've gathered from this first hour of gameplay. It's all coming to me, but you know, I've got so many questions, and ideally I'd play more, but you know, I don't. I just wanted to get this out there. You know, just this is just my impressions, and yeah. To be honest, I was actually a little disappointed. I thought this game was going to be... Actually, to be honest, it's exactly how I thought it was going to be. It's just a little bit more complicated than I thought. Um, but I think I said it best half an hour ago, or actually 35 minutes ago. Um, the more fluent, the more knowledge you get in how to play this game, the more fun it will become, because it'll become fluent, is what I'm trying to say. So, because it's such a learning curve, it's like reading a book. You know, you're like, oh, you know, yeah, I don't get this guy's writing style, and then you get 3 or 4 chapters into it, and you're like, oh, I don't know, man, this guy's writing style's kind of throwing me off. And then you get a little bit further, and you're like, okay, I understand how he's going now. You know, you start to adapt, which is human nature. You adapt, um, and I think that's what's going to happen with this game. And I think that's something that everyone should take going into this game, is you've got to learn to adapt to the style of gameplay that this game is trying to put out there, because it's a little different to everything. It's got its own flair, but it's not quite like other games that are in the same genre. So it's not quite like SimCity. It's got a little bit of difference to that. It's not quite like Craft the World or Dwarf Fortress. Um, you know, and here I'm. This is where I'm getting a lot of problems. I'm trying to get this guy to talk. He's unhappy. He's feeling neglected. He's actually a visitor right now. So I've got those 5 slots for lordship, and what I want to do is I want to make him a part of the 5 lords. He's trying to get away, so I've sent someone out to talk to him, and he's convinced. He's like, okay, alright, I'll come back. So he's going to talk to one of my lords. You can actually do direct orders, okay. So I'm looking at what I have to do to get him to be a lord. And his profile just got bigger, so I think he is actually a lord now. Free lord? Don't know what that is, but I'm gonna have to build him a cabin. Still don't have him. Oh, there he is. He's selectable. Okay, so he's now a part of my town. And as you can see, every time the game saves, it freezes my game. So, get used to that. Maybe I should set it to save once a day and it won't happen as often. Up in the top right, where it says 5, not the small 5, the big banner flag 5, that's how many tasks I have to do. So you do a task, you get a reward. I don't know what right is. I think right teaches someone else how to do it. So one person learns how to do it and the other person, and then you can teach others how to do it. But, yeah. But, yeah, so forth. So I've got this new lord, and the traders come by, and the game's on low speed. So I've got a hop field. I'm going to put the hop field in. I can somehow put it on top of the other one for some strange reason. Definitely should increase the speed. I still can't make anything, and this is where I realise, okay, I need a brewery. Yep, brewery. Alright, so obviously that's something that I haven't built. Production, brewery, there it is. Alright, that'll do. So we'll make a brewery, increase the game speed. Talk to the trader. No, not quite sure. So yeah, I don't know why his name is in the orange. I think that means neutral, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to sell some of this. I only get 68, that's not a lot. And I don't think I buy anything here, I'm not sure. Yeah, so I do buy something, yeah. So yeah, nighttime comes around and everyone goes to their beds, and everybody can go to bed, that is. I don't know if I have to build more beds, or like they're just sleeping out there. I haven't figured that out yet. They're just sleeping on the floor, and really everyone's really unhappy. That's something I've got to fix. Whether or not I have to pay for it, or maybe it's because I have to tell them to talk to each other or something like that. I have no idea. I really don't. But as you can see, there are a couple of night owls. So during the night, there is a little bit of gameplay. And I wouldn't be surprised if later in the game, that's when most of the bandits attack, is during the night. So that was my hint to get into foreign trade, and I didn't take it. Next time I open the game, I'll probably look into that more. Get stuck into some foreign trade, because that's what happened in the tutorial. I got some foreign trade going, and I was able to get copper and all that. One thing I'm noticing is I've only got 20 copper left. So now I've got my brewery up and going. Oh, now it's up, yep. So I need someone to be in charge of it. Also, he needs a lord's house, so I'll give him one. And as you can see, that took 5 copper, which I'm not getting from anywhere, so I need to trade that or some, you know. They built it nice and fast. So that's now his house. The Tutrasor? Okay, I don't know. Tutrasor. That's his name. That'll be his name from now on. Now I can make beer. Oh, can't make that much beer. I can't make any. I don't have whatever that green thing is. And this is another problem that I have with the game. You should be able to mouse over the object and see what it is. Also, doing that right there, it's now going to be made. I don't need to do anything else. I thought I had to click accept or something. So, like I said, this is not like other sim games. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Do I click accept? Where do I click accept? Do I just cancel it? Does that cancel it? No, it doesn't. Okay, so there we go. They're making it. So she's captured. Now, I'm hostile to them. Or at least I think I'm hostile to them. I need to work out. Okay, so I'm going to build an army. And this is where shit starts going wrong. Yeah, that should be enough. And look, I've got some nice armor, some pickaxes, some bows. I don't need that many, but whatever. It tells you what you need. So, alright, now I've got my army. Warrior mood. Alright. Should have read that, but I didn't. And now I think I just click over here and it'll be done, but no, that's not how it works. Attack. And then I saw 48%. I'm like, nah, I can't attack them. And then I can bribe them to stop them from invading me. Or what do you call it? Plunder. They're going to plunder me in a couple of days. And I've got to stop them. Action. Bribe. But I could send someone to them to bribe them, and then I realized, oh, I can just buy her back for 676 gold. So I ransom, I send, what's his face? I can't remember his name, but I send him to go work it out. And I've still got this control group, this army. Which I need to disband. Yeah, I can move them around. But there's nothing to attack. And I thought I was getting attacked, so I'm kind of confused. So I just disband it. Yep, that'll do. Alright. And now I got Nala, or whatever her name is. I can't read that from here. There. I really got to sort that out in the future. But yeah, I got her back. It only cost me 700 gold. And I can start divvying up a new empire. I didn't read any of this. Oh, actually, I did, but not all of it. I guess I did read all of it. So I want to sort out everything. Now that I've got someone else to take the load, and they're just doing nothing at the moment. But yeah, I should be teaching them more stuff, which I need the trader, I need to buy more books, producing more ale, beer. I still can't make beer. I don't know what's... Oh, I know what's going on there. I haven't put someone in the field to work. So that'll be something I figure out soon. King's attributes. So yeah, and now it talks about marriage. This is what confused me the most. This is what I spent the next 10 minutes trying to work out. Luckily, you don't have to be involved in most of that. But marriage, you know, the people will eventually die, and you need to work out how to get a lineage started. So either by marrying someone who visits your town, or you go and visit theirs, or something like that. And you posture favor with them, and yeah, you work out a marriage, and there, have little kids, and you know, everyone moves on, and you start a lineage. Sven's going to go put his head back in the books, because that's what he does. And I don't know what that is, but it looks dangerous. It's heading towards me. This is another reason I got confused, because this enters my province and nothing happens. I know. Yeah, it says it's right there. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm absolutely confused. So I just made a big army. And now they're ready to fight. And I don't know where they are. Apparently they're gone. I don't know. I don't understand. They're around here somewhere, but I just... probably not, actually. Maybe when they're on the map is the only time they're fightable. So yeah, it takes me a moment to realise that, yeah, I guess they're not here. But, oh well, yep. So I just give up on that and disband the party. Gotta work out how to first. How do you disband a party? Like I said, this is a huge learning curve, this game. And then I realised the group of soldiers is sitting right there. I'm like, okay. No, I don't need more warriors. There it is. I don't know what that does. Hire a lord. Last time I did that, I got a lord. So this time it's not going to do that? I don't get it. And then I find out that here's my party. Alright then. And I can disband the party. Well, the army. It's not really an army. Just a bunch of peasants. So I didn't really get stuck into what you actually have to do in this game, but I got you the basics, you know. It's a really confusing game, but it looks like it'd be really adventurous and fun, and there you go, I disbanded, and everyone's going to go back to doing what they're doing. But yeah, the game looks really interesting. I can't wait to see what mid-game looks like, or even end-game, to be honest. But so far, so sure, you know. Um, Basically, I play for another 10 minutes and I try to work out the social aspects, like getting them to talk to each other and increase their moods, and like, I don't like this person and I don't like that person. You get them to talk to each other, have a beer and go hunting with each other and all that crap, you know. So yeah, that was my first hour of gameplay with Norland. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, be good to your mother, and I'll see you next time. Peace.